Hello and welcome to our program Where God Weeps in Depth. A program where we talk about the realities of the suffering and persecuted church around the world. In today's episode, we want to return with you to Iraq. In our previous program, we talked about the ancient history of this country, the suffering of the Christian and Yazidi minorities at the beginning of our century, and the dramatic flight from persecution by the Islamic State. These criminal acts have been recognized by the democratic world as genocide. We concluded the previous program with the story of Maryam Walid. We visited her family a year later. They were still in a camp for internally displaced people in Erbil, Iraq. Life for them and other IDPs may have been a little bit better organized, but the longing for home and a normal life was perhaps even more acute.
Hello, my name is Maryam Walid Bahnam.
هاي السنة اللي فاتت ما كنت أعرف أحكي هواية إنجليزي، بس هاي السنة شوية أعرف أدبر حالي، أعرف شوية أحكي إنجليزي
This is my father, Walid.
بس أعرف إنه البيطري يشتغل بالحيوانات، يشتغل يكون عمله مع الحيوانات، حيوانات أو يداوي أو هاي الأشياء.
This is my sister زمرد.
مرات شوية نتقاتل لأنه ماكو أخت ما تتقاتل ويا أختها، ودائما مرة أنا قاتلت وياها بعدين تصالحنا بحبة كرز.
This is my mother, Alice.
وبالبيت تطبخ وتنظف ما تقصر أبد بشيء، فإحنا دايما نشكرها على كل شيء، أبد ما تقصر ويانا.
I was praying to God to back to my home and to be happy all my life, to my family, to have a good days, my mother and sister and father, and to me. Jesus said to us, we will not have all the days good. We will have good days and bad days. I want from who is seeing me now to pray for me and for my family, to have a peace in our country. So I will pray for you and you will pray for me, and in that we will be like friends, but we don't know each other.
We're in the middle of St. Mary camp. Contains 135 families displaced from Nineveh. So after ISIS attacked Mosul, so we have this camp here in Baghdad. This camp was established in the beginning of 1215. Most of these families were rich families in Nineveh province because they had lands, they were farmers, and some of them had factories, and they had very big machines that used to work with. So it's very difficult to them to leave all these properties that they had. We have provided electricity for these families, we have provided clean water for these families, and also we are providing them with health care, and also we have provided them with cars to go to schools, because as you see, the kids, they need to continue going to school. We think that the return is very far. They need to live a normal life because they are Iraqis, like I am an Iraqi person or family. They need to live like we are living. All the families now are waiting. No one's thinking about leaving for now. Hopefully, they can return to Nineveh. It was a very important step when we had this church. It was a very, very important step. Sometimes the priest doesn't come because he has some duty outside. So the family gathers here in this church, even if there's not a priest. They will make their own small prayer, and return to their house. We need to stand against what's happening towards the Christianity. We have to show everyone, our neighbors, that we are in this land, we have roots in this land, and we have decided to stay in this land as much as we can. By the help of Jesus, by the help of church, we are trying to stand and take a position in our land. But we need the help of everyone in the world. By their prayer in the beginning, and after that, by other ways, they can help us.
Father Augin emphasized the ancient roots of his community in this land. Let's review now what has been the role of Christians in the Middle East, the history of their presence in the land, and what they still have to face.
The Christians didn't arrive from the west to the east. We are originally from Iraq. Our church is an apostolic church. It's from the 1st century. We are here before also the arrival of Muslims. The Christians helped the Muslims when they came to Iraq, and we were very welcoming of the Muslims who arrived. Now they consider as a minority, which is very painful actually expression to describe a community, and they consider as foreigners.
The history of Christianity in the Middle East is always a history of persecution. This is not the 1st century that the Christians in Middle East are suffering. We are aware that this is a dedicated moment in the history of Christianity in the Middle East. Middle East is burning with so many crises. Some of the people have said that Middle East have enough of crisis and they don't like to see another one.
So many Christian, 13 villages, Christian villages were actually displaced from their historical places. They left everything, houses, jobs, works actually, and churches, monasteries. The church is the only one who is working with the refugees, trying to find all the materials, food and other things for these people.
According to the information that we have now, between 12 to 15 families every day are leaving the country. Internal refugees is more difficult for them because if you are a refugee inside the country, it's a horrifying experience that you are in your country, but you don't have access to a decent life. I must say that our priests and sisters were wonderful people. They were very close to the people. They were there, and the priests spent hours with the people, listening, helping, distributing food, cleaning toilets, doing all the job.
Come in here. سلامات. سويت من هاي مالتك الشغله.
قبل ما يجون هذول داعش.
قرقوش. Yeah, I was in Karakosh in my house before the ISIS came, and before they sent us by trucks to the Erbil border, they pit us. My question was, who beat you? And they say, I don't know him. I just only know they got a long beard وإذا صرتوا إسلام لما حتى.
الإسلام نعوفكم.
And they say, this is the last warning to you. If we see you again here, you will be killed. Or if you convert to Muslim, you can stay. I just passed 3 times, 3 bombs. One time they blew up my church. One time they attacked during the mass with 5 motorollas, 5 missiles during the mass. One time I got shot in my leg. One time I been kidnapped. Still I just say, I'm lucky. Confirm with the people, they can tell now. Talk about their story because maybe they are passed away or got trauma.
The Christian community is very significant community for the whole of Iraq because Christians have actually no political ambitions in any way of the sense. We work under the law and we are very good citizens. We are very good workers. We are very good actually and well-educated people. We have schools, hospitals, we have churches, and we promote liberty, democracy. So other communities trying to use the Christians as a bridge.
It's very important for the Western countries to do their best to find a solution. Otherwise, we will empty the Middle East of Christians where they were born. And Christianity was born here. We should not forget this.
The Middle East is experiencing a massive crisis regarding the presence of Christians. Yet, as noted by Bishop Saad Sirop, they have an important role in the country as a bridge between different religious communities. From 1.5 million people at the beginning of our century, accounting for 10% of Iraq's population, their numbers have declined to about 150,000, most of them Catholics of the Chaldean rite. The final blow to Christians came with the expansion of ISIS. The Nineveh Plain, one of the largest centers of Christian presence in Iraq since the time of the first apostles, was sacked and occupied by the Islamic State. In July of 2017, this terrorist organization was largely defeated and pushed out of the Mosul and Nineveh Valley area. After the defeat of ISIS, an increasing number of Christians began to think about returning to their villages. But what did they find when they returned?
When we leave the village, 2014, it is a miracle. In 2 hours, all the families went out before ISIS coming. They thought to destroy the church or the Christianity when they destroyed the crosses and the Christian symbols. Maybe here in the earth, in this place, in this time, but the victory will be for the Christ and the cross. This is our faith. ISIS burned the sacristy and the confessional room was filled with the wood and wanted to burn all the church, but they didn't succeed because the fire was stopped. When we start to repair something here in church to put this glass for the protection, the people were very, very happy, encouraged to this work. Also waiting and hoped this work extended from church to the houses. We have 3 categories of houses: broken houses, burned houses, and destroyed houses completely. We need here in Karnes 40 until 50 million dollars for the infrastructure, for the schools and the houses and churches. With this limited security, we want to start. But the money is a big problem for the people, because the families spend all the funds, money they have for the rented houses, for their life in the Kurdistan and other places. So they have to be supported to rebuild. This is our earth, our houses. We cannot continue as displaced and refugees people for always. We have to return back in our village, because our identity here in this village and other towns of Nineveh Valley.
قرية تابعة لمحافظة نينوى. باطنايا منطقة منكوبة من زمان عن أبو جد من ولادي ونعيشها، ويتم غزايا حجم الدمار دبري القاوة، دمار غير طبيعي. وإن شاء الله داب خاصة قام دينوخن وأي بيت دي الموجود أماموخن أي أحد البيوت بطناي دي المدمرة دمار كامل. نعم الناس متحمسين له بشكل، يعني متحمسين بشكل، لأن معاناة الغربة، يعني معاناة الغربة معاناتي له يعني، والهجرة دماري له. يعني الهجرة للحل طالا، الحل الصحيح طالا نرجعوا في المثواثة نعيشوا نرجع حياة طبيعية مستقرة في مناطق دي.
These people were out of their villages for more than 2 years. They paid during these years their renting house, and they were without job. Batnai is damaged more than 80%. It means we have to work hardly to rebuild the houses and the infrastructure.
بطناي تقريبا إلى ما لا يقل عن 900 بيثة، والأغلبية العامة كلها سورالي، كلها نشواثلي يعني خالد خلنا يعني، وكلش ولناهم برايو وماثا زنقين واوا، ويعني إثوالا آليات وإثوالا يعني بنية تحتية دي كلش بسنتوا واوا، واخني إثوالا بيثواثة خندو كان كم زبنخلا يصير لد مثلا كون أماني له وكل الناس دغ هذا وخو يعني لذو أي مشكلة.
They hope in us and they trust us. The church is the only organization that they are moving to rebuild and to reconstruct these villages.
We needed all to come here again. Please, please, please. I am Samir Dakko. I live it here. I am and all my family. I am not want to go out. Because I am here, I want to stay here.
We went to chapel. Really, all the sisters are crying. We take the Holy Communion and we left one. We said that at least this one, guards our convent.
ISIS burned the sacristy and wanted to burn all the church, but the fire was stopped.
This church is the biggest church in Iraq. ISIS used this place to train its fighters.
Non c'era la croce quando sono venuto, io sono il primo che sono arrivato qua dopo la liberazione di questa città, c'era anche la bandiera dell'ISIS, l'abbiamo tolta e l'ho messo io la croce sopra.
Nous aimons nos églises, nous sommes fiers de notre patrimoine. Nous voulons continuer ici comme des chrétiens pour montrer aux gens que la chrétienté qui était vraiment depuis le début entrée en Irak, ça continue jusqu'à la fin du monde.
Almost 15,000 Christian homes and 363 church properties were damaged or destroyed by ISIS. 6 years after Iraq officially declared victory over ISIS, the ramifications of the Yazidis' occupation of large parts of the country can still be felt. Christians are hesitant to return to Mosul, the former capital of ISIS in the Nineveh Plains. Still, the Christian heartland and the economy and security situation is bad due to sectarian militia. Those who had decided to return had to roll up their sleeves to rebuild their homes, schools, and churches.
وهاي بيت دي الموجود أمامكم هاي أحد البيوت ضدناي دي مدمرة دمار كامل.
They put all the clothes in all the rooms and they put my books also to burn them.
I was scared. Maybe there were some bomb or thing here. I couldn't touch anything.
Shortly before the visit of Pope Francis in Iraq, a major campaign began which involved people of goodwill from around the world.
Cari fratelli e sorelle, le notizie che giungono dall'Iraq sono purtroppo molto dolorose. I nostri fratelli sono perseguitati, sono cacciati via, devono lasciare le sue case senza avere la possibilità di portare niente. Distruzione dappertutto, distruzione di case, di patrimoni religiosi, storici e culturali. Esiste il rischio che la presenza cristiana sia cancellata proprio nella terra da cui si è propagata nel mondo la luce del Vangelo. La Chiesa è madre e come tutte le madri sa accompagnare il figlio bisognoso, sollevare il figlio caduto, curare il malato, cercare il perduto, scuotere quello addormentato e anche difendere i figli indifesi e perseguitati. Oggi vorrei assicurare, specialmente a questi ultimi, cioè gli indifesi e perseguitati, la vicinanza. Siete nel cuore della Chiesa. La Chiesa soffre con voi e la Chiesa è fiera di voi.
Pope Francis, despite the dangers of the country's instability and the pandemic prevailing at that time, decided in March of 2021 to personally visit a community of Iraqi Christians that had been a community of martyrs over the past 20 years. It was a historic visit, not least because it was the first time the Pope had set foot on the land. He also met the Muslim Shiite authorities, and in Ur of the Chaldeans, he made an appeal for peace along with followers of other religions. Above all, he brought new hope to the hearts of Christians. who believed that they had not been forgotten and that their historic presence in Iraq would be appreciated. The Pope said, "Dear friends, the time has come to renew not only the buildings, but also the bonds of community that unite communities and families, young and old, together." Thank you for being with us on this journey. We'll leave you with a final video to strengthen your conviction to accompany our Iraqi brothers and sisters in their struggles. We are one church, one mystical body of Christ. And God bless.